Hello everybody and welcome to another SkySlope tutorial video. This video is going to show our office administrators how to input a listing file into SkySlope. So the first thing we're going to want to do is go up to our browser and go into our address bar here and type in skyslope.com. Now oh, let me log out here first to show you how that goes. Now you should already have your login. If you don't, let me know and I can help you get set up with that. If you're just filling in for somebody for a couple weeks, you might be better to just go ahead and use their account for a couple weeks. You could talk to them about that. But assuming you have your login, you'll just click login up at the top here. And you can type in your data. You see mine's already saved here. I'm going to go ahead and click login. And you see this is our kind of our dashboard here, just where SkySlope homepage is once you're logged in. So the way we're having agents send in paperwork is we're having them send it to office-specific email addresses, either through email or through the scanners in our offices. So I work in West Seattle, so our agents are sending paperwork to westseattle@skyslope.com. If you worked in Burien, they'd send it to burien@skyslope.com, and so on and so forth. See how that works. I'll list the office email addresses down in the description just in case you're not aware of what yours is. One quick thing I'm going to do here, I have this option, most other people do not. I can actually see all the office's files in case somebody needs help with anything. So the first thing I'm going to do is click the West Seattle so that when I go into the working documents here, which is where those office specific, West Seattle at skyslope.com emails go, it'll just show mine and not everybody's. So here's where those emails go, into the office inbox. You see here I have a transaction you got sent to me, a listing I got sent as well. If I click on these, you can open it up and you can see what the agent said when they sent it to you. We're going to work on the listing here. So if we just go over to this blue link here and click on it, it'll open up another tab where we can see the listing file. You see we got the cover sheet, we got a little fake agent detail report I made up. I wanted to make a fake file so I didn't put anybody's personal information up on YouTube or anything. So here's the whole listing file. Um, it's important to note that it's really, really helpful if you're doing this with two monitors, because I'm going to need to input a lot of the information that's on here, and it's really tedious if I have to just click back and forth between the tabs. If I want to enter a name and then number and then click back and forth. It's a lot easier to just drag this over to another monitor. So I can't show you both my screens on the video at the same time, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag this over here, and when I'm inputting information later on, just know that that's where I'm getting that from. Okay, so now if I click this little checkbox here, I can go up to the top. Well, actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself here. We need to make this listing file first. So I'm going to click up on the logo up at the top here to get us back to the home page. And I'm going to go into this listing tab right here. Now, this is where all our listings are. You can see I have to get some extensions here. That's why they all show expired. I'm a little behind on that, but you can cancel listings here. You can turn listings into transactions here. You can delete them if you made them an error. That's a little tricky. Maybe I'll cover that in another video. You're not going to use that very often. Create listing is what we're looking for right now, though. So if we click create listing, you get this little pop-up window here. You can see you can enter the MLS number, and if you search that, they just added some MLS integration with SkySlope, so it works fairly well now. I'm not going to be able to do it here because, I'm just a fake property I made up. But if you can enter it here, it'll enter in a lot of the data like year built and everything like that, so it's really useful. But in this case, I would enter the address here if I had a real address, but again, it's 123 Fake Street in this case, so I guess there actually is a 123 Fake Street in Baltimore, but that's not what we're going for here. So if you can't find it in the address, if it doesn't pop up here in this little Google Maps thing, it doesn't pop up in the MLS, you can still just X out here and just enter it here. I do that a lot of times with like vacant land that maybe won't show up the way I want it to. So this is the MLS number here actually. So I'm going to put my fake MLS number. And you can see some of this is in red and some of it's in black. Everything in red is required. So you won't be able to get onto the next page here. There's actually going to be a few more tabs up at this bar here once we're done. But you won't be able to do that unless you enter everything that's in red. So we want to at least do that much. So let's see, 123 Fake Street. I'm just tabbing through here to get to this. Now the zip code comes up first because when you enter the zip code and you tab out, it'll automatically enter the city. Sometimes it gets it wrong, so you want to check and make sure it gets it right. Like a lot of their zip codes will overlap, so sometimes Burien addresses or SeaTac addresses will come up as Seattle for me. But for the most part, it works pretty well. So now we're going to select our listing agent, and it goes by last name. So you see Gregory Bereiter here. The listing price on this one is going to be $235. And the type, this is going to determine what checklist type we have, which probably doesn't mean anything to you yet if you're watching this video and just learning SkySlope for the first time. But later on in the video, we'll get to what that means. But it's pretty important that you pick the right thing here. So we're going to get residential. The year built, I'm just going to show you a little trick here. You can't enter the year built here. It is a requirement that SkySlope has for some reason. If you don't know the year built, or if it's a vacant land or something and you don't want to fill this in, or you just can't, or it doesn't apply, you can just enter 4 zeros, and that's kind of the way to get around that. Source here, this one I got on up call, so I'm going to call floor time. And of course I got my full 6% commission. The listing date, let's go with 10/7/15, expiration of the end of the year, let's say. Alright, so that's the first page. This first page is mostly just basic information about the listing. As we go into the next page, we'll get into the contacts. So here's the contacts page. This is where we're going to enter the seller's information. So this one's Susie, seller. And that's all I have to enter there, but we're going to want more information than that. And I can show you, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it in this video or some other ones, but the email specifically, you can email people out of SkySlope. It'll keep a log of emails you sent out of this file, so it's kind of useful to have this information in there. Email.com. It's also important to note that the agents will also have access to this file. Accounting will have access to this file. So the more information you put in here and the more clear everything is, the easier it is for everybody else to get whatever it is they're looking for. So in this case, the address is actually going to be the same as the property address. So they have this convenient little button here where I can just click that for the sellers. And we'll put in a phone number. So that's usually the information I'm going to put in. I don't often have alternate numbers or fax numbers for people. So I'm just going to click save there. Now the next, I could go on, or I could go into the next tab here. The home warranty, I'm not sure how everybody is going about ordering the home warranties with the American Home Shield program. So you can talk to your manager about that if you're new to paperwork and PHHS and not sure how that works. But this is where I enter in all that information once we have those warranties ordered. So I'll put in the representative name here. I just kind of have this memorized now. I won't put his name. I'm on YouTube actually. And say I have a confirmation number. This is just what I like to put in the file. I don't really use this for reference that often, but it's just a good way of verifying that I have ordered the warranty, because that's how we do it in our office. When we get a listing in, I just go ahead and order it for the agents. And the miscellaneous contact, it's there if you need it. I've never used it personally. So then we're ready to hit submit. And now we're at that checklist I talked to you about earlier. So this is what the managers are going to look at when they review the paperwork. We're going to take that listing package and we're going to break it down so that everything the manager needs to review will be on this checklist here. They'll be able to either accept or mark it incomplete and put a little note. Maybe it needs initials or something. And then they'll be able to just click this update agent button and it'll send this email of this whole checklist right to the agent. Make it really easy for them to see what they have turned in and what they haven't. But first we need to put the listing file that we clicked on in that office inbox back over into this file we set up here. So we're going to go back to the home page. Then we're going to go into the working documents folder again where all our documents get sent by our agents and all that. And we're going to click on this little checkbox here. It's important to note that if you click anywhere else and make this whole thing blue, You can delete something that way, but it'll prevent you from assigning it. See how it's grayed out there? You can't assign it like that. So if you ever run into that where it's grayed out and you're wondering why you can't assign something, you probably just click that, just unclick it again, and we can move on and go to assign. This is a listing, so this part is where you'd put in for the address for the transaction. I should also say pretty much everything in SkySlope you're going to look up by property address. Buyer and seller names don't work too well. Agent names work okay. See if I put like Gregory. See, you can put my name, it'll pop up there. But usually you're going to go by address. And not the whole address, just the street number there, yeah. So when I click search, it'll just bring up that listing file I created, and I'm going to go over here and click this assign button. And that's going to put that file, put that document in our file. So up at the top here is where I go search and go in between files for the most part. Is up at the search bar up at the top. It'll just take you right to the file. So if I type 123, go down and see 123 Fake Street there at the bottom. And it'll just take me right to the file. So if I go over to this document tab here, there you can see that's where we got that file. We moved it over here. So in order for me to split this up so that it is all up in these easy to read sections here in this checklist, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to click this split button. That'll bring up this menu that allows me to split this document up. So we're just going to wait for it to load. And I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this pretty well on the YouTube video. I'm not sure how well it's going to come across, but I can see the whole listing cover sheet is on the front page there. So I'm going to type cover sheet. And this little window pops up. Now, if I just tab out, it won't assign it to anything. It won't go on the checklist. So I'll make sure to click on the cover sheet there to assign it. So then over here, I can click over to the next page. This is my little agent detail report I made. So I think we have that saved up as NWMLS agent detail report. I'll click on that. Next, I have the listing agreement, the form 1A. I saved most of the things in the checklist by form number. If you run into some that aren't, let me know and I'll get those changed. I'm just going to type 1A in here. I'll bring up the listing agreement, and if I go to the next page, well, page 3 and 4 are both part of the listing agreement, so I'm just going to change this to say it goes from page 3 to page 4. And then similar situation here with the listing input. We have 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're going to say this goes all the way to 8. And we have the legal description. So hopefully you're able to follow along with this pretty well. It's fairly self-explanatory. Form 17 after that, and I believe that's all we have, and that goes all the way to the end. Just be sure, especially at the end, I always forget to make sure that it goes all the way to the end and you're not going to just cut it off at one page. So a lot of times, I'll do that and then the manager will review it and say, hey, where's the other 4 pages? Send that to the agent, and the agent says, hey, well, I turned in all 5 pages. What happened to it? And it's just I did something like that. I just forgot to add it there. So be sure that you have all the pages included in each section. And you're going to click split and assign. And we get a little message here. Nice job. Your 6 items are split and assigned to the checklist for you. So now we're going to go back and see the checklist. These are all marked pending now. These are pending for the manager's approval. If you click on these little paper clips here, you can see just the cover sheet comes up because we split up just the cover sheet. Same with the listing agreement here. So there you have it. We have our listing input. And if we were to go into the documents to review file over here, you can see, oh, we're actually pretty caught up today. There it is right there. That's where the managers will go to make sure that they're caught up on their paperwork. They'll go in here and just click through the files and go through the checklist. So we got it all set up.